because the Atari VCS is definitely something that's coming out, we need to do a teardown on one to get some perspective. And Atari, if you don't know, it's the same one as the very well-known hotel company. So the Atari video computer system has come into our possession, but it's not that one. This is a $12 4 parts only Atari VCS that I just happened to walk by pure chance in a new toy store, like a collectibles toy store called Ogo Toys. And they just happened to have this. And on the top of it, it had a sticker that said 4 parts, needs chip. I asked the guy, I said, so what does it really need? And he said, well, there's one chip that commonly fails on these, and it's not too hard to replace, but it's $12 and you just need the power supply and controller and these chips. And so we bought all that stuff. The goal for today is to do a teardown on the VCS because Atari is taking so damn long on its actual new VCS that we'll be able to get this fixed, and we could probably even build our own VCS inside of this before theirs ever comes out. So that's kind of the plan for this content. We might have some follow-ups with doing a mini ITX build depending on the interest, but today we're going to clean this thing because it's nasty. It's got a couple decades worth of filth on it, and then we're going to see if we can get it to actually turn on. Before that, this video is brought to you by us and our Patreon page. Aside from the GN store, one of the best ways to support our high expenditure on testing quality and equipment is to join our Patreon page. We've been posting weekly behind-the-scenes videos lately to update our backers on developments at GN. You can gain access to our Patreon Discord, videos featuring other team members, and Patrons Ask GN videos at patreon.com/gamersnexus. The funding has been going straight into maintaining our testing quality. Learn more at the link in the description below. Okay, so for the VCS we have this, as I understand it, this was originally the video computer system. Later it was rebranded to the Atari 2600. There might be some minutia there, so feel free to leave it in the comments if so. But I think we've pinpointed this, we've carbon dated this one to about 1980 to 1982. It sounds like pre-1980. I guess the differences were the switches here, these physical hardware switches, which control things like game selection, game reset, power, and TV type, black and white or color. There were 6 on the original, and there's 4 on this model, and I think that pinpoints us to the early 80s. And then also the wood veneer has changed over time as well. So you'll see those differences between the models. So this is not the first, but it's one of the earlier units. And on the back side also, if you're not familiar with these, which I was not, I've never owned one of these working or not working before. So I got it for $12, broken in theory. And on the back, we've got left controller, right controller. We have a channel select over here, and then we've got a difficulty switch for each player. So this goes from expert to novice, and it's a physical hardware switch for difficulty, which is pretty cool. And then also power, and I'm sure a lot of people in the comments are going to be like, I can't believe he's never had or seen one of these before. But I think I've seen them in stores, but never actually thought to purchase one, and it seemed like a fun repair project. So that's what we're going to work on today. I'm going to recruit Patrick for that. So we'll get Patrick over here, and we can start the cleaning and disassembly process. I see you've come prepared.
Ready. Yeah, the main issue we had here is, I mean, we kind of knew this is too old to have just a normal composite RCA jack on it. So this is this would go into the RF like coax jack on a TV, but obviously this is not a normal coax plug like you would see like a cable plug. So that's what the first thing we bought is one of these adapters from just like a normal RCA style jack to like a cable coax jack that you would get on a normal TV of a certain age.
Yeah, so we can adapt it. You've got one of those TVs, fortunately. You have a tube TV you brought in, so we'll be able to test it. We also needed controllers. So all this stuff, I bought it just on eBay. We got the system for $12, I guess marked down because it didn't have anything with it or working internals apparently. I bought the replacement chips. We didn't know which one we needed. I'm impatient. I'm making this for a video anyway, so you have to remember we're making money off the content. It's not like we're doing this just to play the games. But if you were doing this as a hobbyist just trying to restore it, you could spend less money than us. I think the Riot chip is the one that's apparently the most common to break. It's called they called it a Riot chip. I don't know. So that was about $9, and then I got the other two for maybe I don't know, combined 5 or something like that. So I think we spent about $15 on these 3. Could have done it cheaper, but
Did they throw on the cassette?
they did
holder
throw
for
on
free?
the
Okay.
cassette holder, yeah, which I'm planning to use. We have some cassette overflow.
We have a mix, a Gamers Nexus mix. We're gonna
Yeah.
have it.
We're going to be dropping a GN mixtape with only Atari video game music on it. So speaking of video game music and Atari, we also picked up, I don't know if it was 12 games they bought. Some of them haven't arrived yet, but
Yeah.
we picked up a bunch of games. It was, the pricing after shipping was about the same once. I could buy one game and spend like $15 to get it here. So I just bought a bunch of them and spent a little more. We got 2 controllers, and the big thing here though is that this unit is just gross. I mean, it's been in deployment for decades, and depending on how the previous owner kept it, who knows what we're dealing with, but we're gonna clean it out first, and then we'll do the chip repair once we open it up, get in there and try and swap them, see if we can get it to work. I also bought this, which is a chip puller.
You bought 2 more things.
What else?
You bought the power supply too.
Oh, that's right.
Which has
Yes.
the.
Oh, that's a good one. Do you want to tell a story about this?
Oh yeah. Well, first off, they have what is, I'm assuming, just a Xeroxed sticker from the original charger, and then it says "same as" on top in a different font. So they just
Yes.
copied the sticker and wrote "same as" and their manufacturer name on
Yes.
the sticker.
But it does say Atari, and it does have the original crease mark and damage that the source copy had.
And it also has the same jack on the end that the original had, which is just a 3.5 millimeter mono audio jack
Yeah.
for your power.
Yep.
So that's a fun,
So
dangerous thing to have around.
there we go. Can power our.
Yeah, plug that right in.
I can charge my phone with this.
That's how it works.
So for those of us who still have 3.5 jacks, that is.
Everybody at Gamers Nexus
Yes.
still has
Because we
a
buy
3.5 millimeter audio
we
jack.
buy real phones once every 5 years.
Yeah.
And then that's our chip puller that we're going to try out. You can do it with a Phillips or with a flathead screwdriver apparently, but I wanted to just try that tool because I've never had one before. Okay, let's clean it.
All right.
See you later. Oh, that's gross, man. Yeah, so one thing I want to do with this, obviously we'll restore it. We're going to get it working. The repairs on these are supposed to be pretty easy from what I saw on YouTube. This website's got videos on it. And repairs looked easy. So one of the other ideas I had was potentially doing stripping it later and maybe doing a build in it if we wanted to. We'd have to cut holes somewhere, right, to route the cables, but I think we could fit an ITX build in there if we wanted. I just don't know if I want to destroy the shell.
You mean
But I should say this, there's like thousands of these on eBay. They're in no short supply.
Yeah, if you begin to feel bad about how we treat this Atari at any point, feel free to look at eBay because they are cheap
And everywhere.
and they are extremely readily available with accessories and stuff.
I wonder if they regretted this design. If later they were like, oh, we shouldn't put grooves that stuff can get stuck in.
Well, you can check because they revised the design like a million times.
That was a quick pan, Andrew.
I don't know how accurate this is, but the Wikipedia page claims that they stopped making these in like '92 or something, which is
Okay. That's a very long
it's
life.
just way longer than this deserves.
Yeah, people complain about like 10-year life cycle of consoles now. And you look at this thing around from late 70s through at least late 80s, maybe early 90s.
All of
You're
this
gonna
dirt, all of this dirt was part of somebody at some point. So,
Or their pets.
yeah.
That's another common one. There's still a lot of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how we really get that out.
I think at a certain point because this cover seems like it might be distinct from the rest of it, and if we end up taking it apart and this cover comes off, then we can just get the toothbrush and just
Yeah.
wipe it off.
Okay.
Like that.
Let's take it apart, I guess.
All right.
So I would assume it's the 2 screws in there. This is before companies tried to prohibit anyone from ever doing anything to their electronics they bought
Yeah.
because it's a Phillips head instead of a game bit. Example.
Why would you ever need to take the screw out?
That's true. Why would you do that when you could just buy a new $1,000 phone?
This is already feeling loose, and like, at some point, a PS5 is going to come out, and there's a pretty good chance that we're going to take it apart here.
Yeah.
And there's also a pretty good chance that we're going to do flashbacks to us taking 4 screws out of an Atari and having the whole thing come apart.
The Xbox One X, to its credit, when we did that teardown, it was incredibly easy to do maintenance on. Like, they had all the parts numbered, which I really liked. But I suspect it's more for the RMA department.
That's a very crispy sound it just made.
Yeah, there's some plastic snaps in there. Oh, easy
Nice.
enough. Okay, pull up on the front. So that Brazilian walnut we were talking about.
Yeah.
Ew,
It's flexible.
Gross.
Ooh, juicy.
Ugh, I want to wash my hands.
I'm gonna roll up my sleeves. Gonna get into this one.
I have gloves.
So it is a little bit gross, but honestly, everything in here looks like nothing's rusty. Manufacture date 1980, revision 14. Just gigantic fat traces all over the PCB.
That's pretty insane, actually.
And a little heat sinking right here. And like,
Or grounding.
what I really like is like, if we put this back roughly where it was, I mean, I guess it's tilted up like this, like, this is how much of the internal area of the case is actually the console.
Yeah.
And then this is how much of the console there is.
Yeah.
Just,
They could have made it smaller, I think, and they're not really, thermal's not really a concern in this box.
I bet they were making it like the width of a VCR or an amplifier or something,
That's a good
like
point.
trying to like put it in a
Make it fit in
like
with
a home
everything
console
else.
maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's pretty gross in that one spot.
Check it out.
I don't want to check it out.
You know how there used to be 6 switches?
Yeah.
Up here,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
like something revision 5 marked right there.
Oh, really? Okay.
These blanks on the, I think that's what these are, like
I think
blanks on
you're
the
right.
mold.
I think it's like where they would have
Mhm.
cut the hole if it had one. So, I mean, I feel like if I were at my house or something, I would just spray this with a garden hose. And
Yeah.
I feel like that's the most effective way to clean it. Do you want to scrub or do you want to... I was thinking displace it with force of water.
Well, let me grab a toothbrush and try that. I don't want to go outside.
I don't know why he doesn't want to come out here. This has been used to clean water cooling stuff, so it might be kind of dirty already.
And if we just kept this underwater, it would look great.
That's how that always works when you clean something. It looks great in the water, then it dries off and it just looks
Yeah.
like there's dried gross stuff everywhere. Sick days.
Your depth perception is not going to work. Thank you for these 2 drops of soap. So remember, everyone, wash your Atari every 6 months. This is an interesting approach they have here where the video cable has these like, I mean, there's like a strain relief cutout right here. But then it's also just soldered directly to the motherboard. So, if you gave this video cable a good yank, you could just, I guess, pull it straight off the board. This is the part I think Steve's okay with missing when we clean the bottom half. He didn't seem like he was super excited about this. I guess, when you have a console where like 80% of the interior is empty air, then your odds are pretty good when you spill liquid onto it that it's not going to hit anything important. All right. Ugh. This is going in the parking lot. Removing the patina lowers the value. The patina of cat hair and dirt. It's 40-year-old QC marks.
Yeah, that person's probably retired now.
Yeah, if there are any
If they're
70-year-old QC
former QC engineers for Atari, I guess let us know. Let us know if that's you. Okay, so I walked away for a minute. Patrick cleaned the rest of it and left the QC marks on there.
Yeah.
So what is the result of the cleaning?
We just scrubbed out some of these channels here, and I mean, that's really it. It seems a lot cleaner now. We maybe have some dust residue in the corners now that it's dried out, but in the future, this faceplate pops out. So you could maybe pop this off and then do more aggressive cleaning on the black part. But for right now, this seems like
and then the part with the Atari juice, is that?
Yes, the Atari juice is fully gone.
Okay.
You can put some more in. We need to replace the juice.
Don't need more Atari juice.
That's what it runs on.
That's what it runs on. 30 years of gross. So, yeah, it looks pretty good now. This is out. We've test booted this, and actually, so it was $12 because it said needs chip or missing chip or something like that. But it appears to work fine.
Yeah.
Like without any issues at all.
As fine as an Atari ever works.
Yeah. So initially you were a bit confused because the game, what did you start with?
I started with Phoenix, which is this one right here, which has a demo mode, which is a
weird, right?
Yeah, I would not think that, a cartridge that can barely hold any game at all would have space dedicated to a demo mode.
Yeah.
But it flashes through like a series of rainbow colors, and I haven't looked at a Let's Play, but it seems like that's just what the game does.
What it does. Yeah, so at first we thought maybe it was a problem with the console, and maybe that's what needed to be replaced relating to that. Also, the game art on this looks awesome, and I would have fallen for it.
I would fall for all of these. I would fall for the baseball game.
Yeah, but then
I wouldn't fall for a real baseball game.
Yeah. Then you plug it in, though, and I mean, it looks like you would expect.
Yeah.
So it's definitely very much a suspension of disbelief. But anyway, it works. And that kind of puts a damper in my plan for a video. Because I was like, let's buy this thing and refurbish it. That'll be a lot of fun. It's got VCS in the title. That's a hot topic because Atari doesn't know how to make one. But we got one, and, quoting The Verge on that. And then the whole, like, let's replace the chip and see if we can fix it. It doesn't apply anymore. But I want to replace it anyway, or some of them, all of them, I don't know, just to get experience with trying it and see. I don't know, it gives us a bit more to try out. We bought the parts anyway. So play around with that, and then I guess we'll just have newer chips in there. We could always swap them back out afterwards. I just kind of want to try it out. So my understanding is they're under this metal plate. And did you look at, is that held in with just tabs here?
Yeah.
Tabs.
We're assuming this hasn't been done before. This, yeah, I wonder which 3 chips we're going to replace.
Yeah, we got to be careful of that. That's a little close. But I think this works just like this. Oh yeah, that socket's in pretty nicely.
I was messing with it earlier. It looks like when you apply pressure once those are hooked in, it should, like if you push your hands together now and squeeze, it should pull up.
Oh, nice. That's pretty cool. Works very well. Definitely could do that with like a flathead, but that's a lot safer way to do it, this one. Okay, cool. All right, let's do one at a time. I'll put it back down the same way I picked it up just in case.
Okay.
So in that case, this should be the way this goes in. Do these just push?
It should. Well, we have 2 of them. So.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I don't know to what end we are replacing it. If ours worked fine, but we get the experience of doing it. If anything, we may end up with something that works worse now, or not at all, because I don't know if these even work.
Yeah.
They probably just salvaged them out of a dead board and sold them separately, I bet. Although, actually, they were marked as new, so they might be still being made. I'm kind of scared of this one. There's that small piece right there. Yeah, I don't know about that. It's hard to get a grip with the pieces on either side of it. Kind of afraid of ripping them off. Thinking we leave those alone for now.
Okay.
So that one's not moving. That scratch is superficial, so
That
we should
might
just
be a little
stop
bit.
there. I'm a little worried about pushing too hard and snapping that, or pulling it out and snapping that.
Well, what we can do is take the bottom part off and see what's under here as well while we're at it. Ton of traces, so
Well,
yeah,
not by today's standards. Yeah, that is not a dense PCB. That's like a couple layers on that PCB too. Handmade these things. I wonder if it was made in the U.S. Oh yeah, to match with the buttons.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you feel like you're in a flight deck?
Yes. The guide I read online said that you could tell whether your power adapter was working or not by whether it sparks when you plug it in, because that means it's good. That means it's working.
If it does spark?
Yeah.
Okay. Why don't you unplug that and get the controller plugged in first?
I don't know if it needs a controller, but
Okay. Just for safety of the device. You know, there's going to be some people watching where when they played games, they didn't have to set their TV to a certain channel.
All right, let's fix this Atari.
Does it need the other chip back in it? Probably don't even need that, I guess. Or does it pull it up? Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. All right, well.
Wow, we fixed the Atari.
Wow, cool. Yeah, it was broken and we fixed it. Well, apparently, did you seriously put ET in there? Apparently, if I wanted to have a video about fixing the Atari, what we should have done is put the replacement chip we bought on eBay in there to break it, and then put the one that came with it back.
It's kind of incredible that every non-generic component in here is just a socketable chip that you can buy a replacement and change it yourself.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Not that they want you
Yeah.
to do that, or that they did want you to do that.
I feel like I need to go back to Ogo Toys and offer to pay them the difference. I don't
See
know
what
what
he'll
we're.
take for
I
it.
feel like we're not counting like staff time. We're probably into this maybe. I don't know, $70 after all the shipping and stuff.
Once those other games come.
Yeah, so like for games, the power cable, the controllers, the chips that we ended up not needing, $60-$70. Subtract 10-15 for the chips, which is not terrible really, but it's not like we're doing this to try and make a profit and resell it to a store or anything.
He looks so smug.
Well, so that's our Atari video computer system. It looks really nice. We should finish assembling it so that we can get some shots of this all clean. No. So it looks really good. It does work and super clean now. There's some damage I didn't notice earlier down here in this corner from the previous owner, but we're not going to try and fix that. Overall, I mean, it looks basically new. There's really not much wrong with it at this point. We did swap back to the original chip that was in there, so that works now like it originally did. And yeah, I think at this point, I think we're probably ready to just plug it in and try some games on it.
Yeah.
And if it all works, then we will have done what Atari has been unable to do for years, which is get its old games running again on hardware.
Ship the Atari VCS.
We have made an Atari VCS, by which I mean we got one and then we cleaned it. But yeah, I think it'd be a fun project to maybe do our own Atari VCS in an Atari VCS box. I don't particularly want to cut holes in this, but I think we could do it in a really clean way. And I mean, honestly, like, you know, it's cool to be able to play some old VCS games on this. We're not going to be pulling it out to do that a whole lot. So it might be cool to build a VCS as Atari's been trying to do, put it in this box, And then we'll have to figure out how YouTube rules work for playing games on it. But at the very least, we could play actual licensed, actually sold games on it.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, it looks good. I guess we'll plug it in and try playing some games now. This is intense and also very hard to play at a 110-degree angle. No.
I didn't know we were actually gonna play.
Okay, I think, here you go. Enjoy. You can play from that angle, right? So that's the Atari VCS build. We'll have some footage in here of Andrew and Patrick playing this thing while it was set up. So we tried a couple games, did baseball. I think baseball was the favorite. It's 2-player. It's actually, there's some mechanics to it. And a little bit weird to control, but yeah, it all works. And it looks very, very clean now. So pretty good purchase for $12 walking by it in a toy store that I didn't know was even there the day before. And didn't even need the chips to repair it. So yeah, I don't know. I guess at some point we might do a build in this, but for now I'm happy with leaving it as is and just taunting Atari with it and saying, when's the VCS happening? Because I want to do a teardown of the new one.
We need to buy 3 more broken Ataris, and then we can actually fix them with the chips.
Yeah.
Or 2 if that chip isn't working.
Yes, right. And then we can start amassing them for
reasons.
Nuclear research, I guess, if you have enough of them. So that's it for this one. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more. Go to store.gamersnexus.net to help us out directly, or patreon.com/gamersnexus so that you can help fund more $12 random purchases. We'll see you all next time.
I got it this time.
Wow. This game is impossible. No,
Yes,
why?
just,
Let me just throw it to the pitcher. Why?
you're not allowed to do this in
happening?
baseball.
I'm trying to get the ball back to the pitcher so that I can throw another pitch, and I'm throwing it to like outfielders. Wait, does that mean you can steal it?
Oh,
nice. Run.
I don't know how.
I think.
Oh,
Yeah, I can't find the ball anymore, so you got a home run.
You have to walk.
all my inputs aren't doing anything. I only have 2 inputs.
Oh, there you go.
Maybe you're not hitting the right button, Andrew. Try another button.
I have to wait for Andrew to run around the entire
I can
field.
go backwards, I think.
Do it.
It did for a
Bad
second.
manner. Bad manner. 2600 game. It'll take forever to take care of.
Nice.
Of the
The